Welcome to day one of this video series on finding meaning in life. I'm going to be shooting 28 videos over the next 28 days, going deeper into the topic of finding meaning and finding purpose. These are going to be quite unscripted, almost like my thoughts of the day, and trying to take you on a journey of my own exploration into this topic. I don't want these to be polished. They're not going to be final conclusions, but they're going to be around the topic of navigating life and trying to find meaning in a tricky environment, a challenging world where I'm sure I'm not the only person who's having these thoughts, these conflicts of trying to figure out the big picture of your life and what's actually meaningful. So I think the world we live in, it's very easy to be distracted. We can be on our phones 24/7. We can be on social media. For myself, if I want to distract myself, I'll check sports scores and keep myself busy by dopamine stimulus and not really reflecting deeper. However, if we're not careful, if we don't take some time to reflect, there's a very good chance we're going to miss things. We're going to miss what's actually important, what's meaningful, what's actually going to create that value for our lives going forward. And as I'm trying to think this through for myself, I'm trying to piece together what actually creates joy for me and what creates value for others. I feel like a lot of us are trying to figure out those two things simultaneously. How can I have fun, enjoy stuff, make progress, pursue my goals, but also how can I create value for those around me? It could be your small circle or it could be a bigger circle if you're creating content or distributing things more globally. And I feel like the world we live in now, it's very easy to isolate ourselves, to spend a lot of time alone, a lot of time on our devices, and to miss connection, to miss that feeling of connection to other people, connection to other things that are outside of ourselves, and we can play life almost on a one-player mode. I know myself, I played a lot of one-player games. I was a poker player, which is a one-player game. I was a runner. I used to run for a club, but I was very much individual in terms of my goals. Coaching, I help other people, so I definitely have started to play a bit of a multiplayer game there, but I still have my own channels, my own coaching programs, my own independent kind of ventures there. And yeah, I think if we're not careful, we can get locked into trying to do our own things. And this is dangerous, especially as we look at how AI is influencing stuff and pretty much any role you can do as an individual. It's gonna be hard in 3 to 5 years' time to argue AI can't do it better. It's just the way it is. It's gonna be better at writing, better at shooting videos, better at creating ideas. And we kind of left at a point where what's left for me? What's meaningful for my life? What's really purpose is a big word, but it kind of is that. It's like, what's the purpose of all of this? Why am I here? What am I doing? What am I trying to find meaning with? And you can find meaning, I'm sure, many different avenues. Myself, when I try to solve it originally, I often think of work, pursuits, I think of relationships, I think of connection, I think of trying to find a path. However, where I get stuck a lot is one in the one player mode, but also stuck in the mind. This might seem strange to some people, but I'm sure others will relate. But almost like we can try to think our way through too much. We can use our cognitive reasoning skills, our logic skills, our planning skills, and we can make life a game of trying to satisfy the mind. And the more you do this, or at least the more I do this, the more it feels unfulfilling. The more you live in your head and not your body, the more life just feels a bit abstract. You can actually set really big goals, you can achieve big goals, you can do a lot of stuff by kind of spend a lot of time in the mind. But at some point, at least for me, it feels like that can't be it. That can't be mental pursuits, cognitive pursuits, can't be the depth. They don't feel like the depth for me. They don't feel like the thing that will bring richness to life. And yeah, I think for me, if I'm looking at where I'm likely struggling right now, is a disconnect between what my mind wants and then disconnected from the feelings of my body, not being able to fully feel. And that's what happens when you spend too long in the mind. You end up rationalizing everything. You end up thinking through a lot of stuff, which is definitely good. There's elements of reflection, which are very good, elements of introspection, checking in on yourself, which are very good. But you can also very much miss the skill of learn to listen to yourself, learn to listen to your intuition, learn to feel your way through life. And if I think about when life was most meaningful to me, most enjoyable, I was thinking less. It's a strange thing to say, but I was thinking less and I was just in the moment. I was just much more in the moment. When I was younger, in my early 20s, maybe mid 20s, late 20s, I was pursuing poker at a high level, but I was also very just in the day. Every day was like, let's go, let's do this. This moment right now matters. When I'm with people, I was fully there, fully engaging, fully present, and I didn't have the grand what it's towards. I was just fully in the moment. And I think with the, when you live in your mind too much, you lose that. You lose that kind of connection to those feelings, to that intuitive sense of what you should be doing in the moment. And yeah, it almost like, I think the mind over time starts to cage you off from certain feelings. So if we look at what the mind's doing, or at least what my mind's doing, it tries to create a box like I can live in. It protects me from, don't have those feelings, don't have those experiences. And over time, it's almost like an overprotective parent who like doesn't let you go outside, doesn't let you do stuff because it doesn't want you to get hurt. Because the mind almost like doesn't understand that to feel feelings is fine, especially when feelings are labeled as bad or negative. So we end up almost like not giving ourselves permission to feel things, to experience stuff. And yeah, it starts very subtly. It starts with kind of these likes and dislikes we have, avoiding negative feelings that are obvious to us that would cause pain. But over time, like it kind of, at least for me, it shuts me off from like that almost deeper knowing is the way I would put it, like that internal connection to what I think is right, what I think is I should be doing in my life. And yeah, I feel like when you miss that, you end up struggling. You end up struggling because then now you end up trying to find meaning with the mind. I don't think you find meaning with the mind. I really don't. I've thought this way through this for the last 6 to 12 months of trying to find meaning with the mind, and there's no list, there's no to-do list, there's no ChatGPT master plans that piece the dots together. The meaning's got to come from something deeper. It's got to come from a connection to self. So yeah, I think a lot of people will be like myself right now. It's almost like maybe waiting to find meaning, maybe they're waiting for meaning to arrive, which I think could be another trap, another mistake of, oh, meaning will come soon, then I'll dive into stuff, and before you know it, you're 60 years old, 70 years old, and you're like, shit, meaning didn't come. I think there's an element of participation in life, of like leaning into life, feeling things fully, expressing what you can in the moments, and then letting life teach you from that, give back. Sometimes like you take one step to see the second step. Like climbing a mountain, you can't climb the mountain other than one step at a time. The next step becomes visible once you've took the previous step. I think there's an element of that's how you should find meaning. At least that's how I'm thinking through how to find meaning. And these videos, to be honest, are an exploration into this topic, but also my way of putting out what I think is authentic for me in this moment. Not what's perfect, not what's polished, and seeing what comes next and seeing what the next step becomes. So I'm going to do these videos over 28 days, and hopefully once I look at video 28 compared to video 1, which is today, there'll be some evolution there. They'll be like, things progress because these ideas start to build on each other. Hopefully after this video as well, I'll be thinking about this topic a lot and trying to add value and nuance to it tomorrow. And yeah, this is basically where I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go to adding meaning, trying to find meaning. So if any of you are watching this, let me know in the comments your kind of struggles at the moment with finding meaning. Let me know where you are finding meaning. Let me know anything that's working for you, or anything you're doing, anything you've found that's been super helpful. And yeah, I'm just going to basically be exploring the topic of trying to navigate life and find that meaning as you go through it. So this is video 1, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next part.